Hey guys, welcome to another video, and welcome to a special kind of talk piece video about the modern film critics. The change of the modern film critics. Because things have changed very drastically, the world changes every couple of years and stuff, and film criticism, especially like on YouTube, has gone very, very different. Some are good ways, some are not so good ways. But like, where did it all start? Where did like film criticism started like being like a big thing? Well, for a long time, since almost like movies came out, there's been film critics. But obviously, the two people who made it big and popular and well known is, of course, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. Two of them, Gene Siskel and Ebert at the movies, like they made it popular. They made it fun to like talk about movies and just be passionate about film and stuff, and going to see a movie and hating on it or loving it, and just it was like talking to a friend about films and just your love for it and your hatred for it and all that stuff. And it was just a blast. And all critics owe thanks to Roger and Ebert for pretty much making criticism, being a film critic, like a cool thing and a very like, profitable thing to do and stuff. But then came the age of YouTube, and then we had critics like the Nostalgia Critic, Jeremy Jahns, the Flick Pick, Chris Stuckman. I think I said Chris Stuckman already, but anyways, the schmoes know. And then they all made YouTube movie criticism the big iconic thing. And yeah, for I'd say nearly 8-9 years, those guys dominated the internet. Like those were like the top dogs of like YouTube movie critics. There was other guys out there too, but like I'd say like Chris Stuckman, Jeremy Jahns, even like Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Critic, like they were the big dogs of YouTube. And they were like the fun guys to watch about film criticism, and like they were the guys that you went to get movie opinions. But over the past, I'd say, past couple of years, that it's changed. It's changed very drastically. Like all those big critics that we know, all went kind of downhill and stuff, and did their own things and stuff. Like the schmoes we saw, like they just focused on the schmo down, and then when that got canceled, Christian Harloff just does his own thing, and none of them really are a thing anymore. The schmoes is not really a thing anymore. Chris Stuckman became a filmmaker, sorry, and he just stopped criticizing movies. He only wanted to talk positive about movies, which is, again, his choice. It's his choice, but the stuff that made him super big was like his hilariosities and his rants on the cinemas and stuff, but he didn't want to do those anymore. So people kind of got bored of his videos and didn't want to watch them. And the Flick Pick only does live streams. Does a review every once a month, but does live streams. I actually tune into his live streams. I think his live streams are very fun, but it's very different from what he used to do, his movie nights and his flick trips and stuff. And Jeremy Jahns is the only one that has stayed the same, which I respect. Like, he didn't change anything. He's like, I'm still the same Jeremy Jahns, and he still is. He's not one thing has really changed about his channel. But those guys have become like the old school guys, and like a lot of their viewerships have like gone down, and there's like a new age of film critics now. The modern film critics, huge changes happening, and that is all thanks to politics. I know people don't like that. Yeah, I know everyone's like, oh no, yes, because the film industry has changed, and a lot of identity politics and just politics in general, even stuff about racism or feminism or about, I don't know, just political stuff in general. It's shoved into a lot of films now. And there are film reviewers that call it all out. And that is like drawn a line in the sand, because there are people who point that stuff out, and then there are people who don't like to point that stuff out. And the people that do point that stuff out, they're called anti-wokers. There's like the woke crowd and then the anti-wokers. The woke crowd don't believe woke exists, and they don't believe any of that. But they hate the anti-wokers. They call them a lot of sorts of isms. Then there's the anti-woke crowd. And they have become extremely dominant in the modern movie reviewing era. Especially like Geeks and Gamers. And, of course, the Critical Drinker, which is probably one of the biggest film critics out there now. He's gotten very big. I will fully admit, I love watching the Critical Drinker. Geeks and Gamers, not so much. Geeks and Gamers are very biased towards a lot of things. There's some stuff they call out, some bullshit they call out. I fully agree with them. But they don't like politics in their movies, but if it's politics they agree with on, they think it's good politics. So, double standards Geeks and Gamers have. Huge double standards. Critical Drinker doesn't have that. He just doesn't want it in general, politics in his movies. Whether it's like left-leaning or right-leaning, he don't want it at all. And he does make fun of a lot of things in very harsh ways, and I agree with a lot of things he says. Not everything. There's not a single critic out there I agree with everything they say, but I do love seeing him, and a lot of people find him very polarizing, and even the old school critics don't like the Critical Drinker. There has been rumors that like Chris Stuckman doesn't like him. That's rumors. That's just hearsay. Like, that could be bullshit, but Chris Stuckman has mentioned that he doesn't like the way modern criticism has gone, because they talk about politics and they bash a lot of things and stuff. People are saying that's like a lot of hints at the Critical Drinker. Who knows? I say, and again, there's a lot of dispute on this, because there's people who just want to review movies, just talking movies. They don't want to talk about any of the political stuff. 100% respect that and get that. But yeah, a lot of those guys, some of those guys, though, are really against, like the people who hate the anti-wokers and stuff. But it's a very interesting community nowadays. The modern film critics is very divisive now. There's, like two sides of it now, and it's very intense. And there's a lot of shit going on with that. I've even known, like, some of my own YouTube friends that don't even like each other because one of them's a woker and an anti-woker, and like they don't talk to each other anymore. And I'm like, really? Whether you are just a person who just wants to review movies, talk movies, that's it, or you want to point out the woke shit in Hollywood, either or, both can exist and both respect each other's differences and can just blend in just fine. But we can't have that, I guess, because difference of opinion, this has existed a long time though too, but people just don't like people's opinions on things, but especially when you bring politics into it. Because people get freaked out if you hate a movie and you love it, but this person hates it, so they hate them because they love a movie. They hate the movie that they love. So imagine when you bring in like politics, something you truly believe in and dedicate your life by, and yeah, and you put that into film, and it gets really crazy. That's why modern film criticism has changed so much. And there's a lot of people who just say, stop talking politics. But then there's people who do talk about politics in films, and they point out the hypocrisy of people saying, stop doing that. But then they talk about politics they like inside some of their films, and they think is a good thing. And then, yeah, I think you'll know where I'm going with this. Modern film criticism is not the same anymore. It's not like the old school days of nostalgia critic Jeremy Jahns and stuff. Guys just sitting talking about movies and expressing their opinions. It's not like that now. People are just, they have strong opinions now, and there's just a lot of shit going on in the world, and they're putting that into movies now, and people just don't like it. I agree with that. That's why you can't talk about politics in every video. You just can't do that. DC gamers do that a lot, and that's a huge problem with their channel. You can't talk about every video, because it gets exhausting, it gets annoying, and people get sick of hearing it. And that's why I try not to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk about politics in every video. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I have a passion for video games and movies and shows and stuff. But when it's put into the movies and shows, I will point it out, because the filmmakers put it in their movie, so I will talk about it, because that is criticizing. You put something in your movie, a meaning in your movie, I will address it. Whether I agree with it or not, I will address it. And if people don't like me for addressing it, it's film criticism. It's fair enough. It's fair enough. I think you people should respect that. If they put politics in their movies, you have every right to address that politics. But yes, I get if people get pissed off and like every video is politics. I get that can get annoying. That is annoying. But addressing it when there is shit in there, it's fair game. It's fair game. And I get people don't want to talk about it, even though maybe some of them do know that it's in there. They just don't want to talk about it. I get it. People need to stop drawing that line, though. Like, if you're a anti-woke person and you talk about the woke people, you're a piece of shit and an asshole and right-winger. It's not the case always. And if you don't talk about that, you just want to talk movies and stuff, that doesn't mean you're woke either and stuff. And if you like something like a Captain Marvel, and if you like something like A Force Awakens or Last Jedi, it doesn't mean you're woke or anything. It's just something you like. Something you enjoy, something that speaks to you. People gotta respect that. The amount of respect is completely different now. That's the biggest thing I don't like about modern film critics, is respect. The respect is gone. And I don't like it. I don't like that. And again, like I said, I will agree with a lot of the people that say there's like this wokeness in Hollywood. Oh God, there is. And it's in a lot of art. It's not in every movie. It's not in every movie. It's not in every source of entertainment. But it's in a lot. And I get why people get annoyed and they address that in their videos. And I get that. I get it. But you don't gotta talk about it every time. And that right, wieners. Yeah. I'm talking about critics. Wiener, you have something to say about the critics? You got something to say? Eh? You got something to say? No? Okay. Keep going. I don't know. It's very different, and I'm very curious of what the change is going to be in the future to come, like in 10, 20 years from now. Like the Jeremy Jahns and Chris Star, like the Roger and Eberts were like the 80s and 90s, and then like the 2000s to the early 2010s was like the Jeremy Jahns, Chris Stuckmans, and nostalgia critics. And now the 2020s is like the critical drinkers and stuff and other people. But wonder what it's going to be in 20 years. I don't know. But what are your thoughts and opinions? What do you think about modern film critics? Do you agree with certain demographics? Do you agree that there's politics in movies and they should be addressed? Or do you believe people should just not talk about that and just talk about movies and the love they have for movies? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section below. What are your opinions on the change of modern film criticism? Let me know. Comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and join the dark side.